we've got some things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to need, I love working for the Props Network. This is my purpose. This is why I'm on this planet, to make people better, more entertained gamblers. And I'm going to need a little bit of something in return from the Props Network.
What you talking about, Joel?
We need a line published. We need something actionable, because the big fella, call me a camel, because I got a hunch.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We saw some very slight divisional odds come out right now. Not many season roster moves have been affected. The league year has not begun, but the Rams are plus 170 favorites in the NFC West, a great division, a super talented division, 3 good coaches, 3 good quarterbacks, and then, you know what, enough firepower on the 49ers and Cardinals to make up for what they don't have. Wow. The Detroit Lions, plus 2,700 to win the NFC North. So Vegas, you could tell from that, they think that the Rams are much better than the Detroit Lions. Now, I need a line. I need it published. I need to throw down on this, because the Lions are having more regular seasons than the Rams next season in 2021. So you can scroll down. You can see that those lines are plus 27 to confirm. And I want to make the case that the Lions will have more wins than the Rams. And this kind of goes over based off of a article published by Mitch Albom about Matthew Stafford today. I love the article. I enjoyed reading it. I don't understand why it was worked into Tuesdays with Maury, but you know what? That's not for me to decide upon.
Oh, hold on. So let me explain it. So you're telling me that the Lions, with the whole new coaching staff, is going to have more wins than the Rams with the number 1 defense.
With the number 1 defense, with a former number 1 pick at quarterback, with one of the best coaches in the NFL. Yes, I'm telling you that they are the better choice to win more games than the Rams. And we're going to get plus money on this. We're going to have plus odds. I see it as an amateur odds maker as a plus 450 proposition. And I think there's going to be value in this. First of all, let's look at the Rams cap. This is a top-heavy team. Next year, we've got $20 million in cap going to Donald, 18 to Ramsey, 10 to Kupp, 12 to Woods, 7 to Whitworth, and you know what? A hell of a lot to Stafford. One of those guys goes down, it's a house of cards. The Rams are built more top-heavy than any team in the NFL, and they're built in a complementary fashion. Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, they're so good at defense because they're there together. One reinforces the other. That goes with the passing game as well. Stafford, he complements those receivers, but the rest of the roster, that O-line, that running back room, that linebacking core, the rest of that secondary, they're below average as an NFL football team. Now, what division are they in, Brian?
NFC West.
They're playing twice for the Seahawks. They're playing twice versus the rejuvenated 49ers and twice versus a decent, exciting, and high upside Arizona Cardinals team. What division are the Lions in?
The NFC, what? You got North? What is that?
NFC North. Yeah. And yeah, we know Aaron Rodgers is going to carry Green Bay to 12 wins. Similarly, Minnesota had a terrible defense. Minnesota is hamstrung by cap issues. And Chicago, we don't know who their quarterback is. We saw that defense get old. And I think both those teams could easily be next year's surprise stinker, giving us a 4-12 record in the NFC North. And just looking around those divisions, I mean, if you were to pick the top 5 teams, like, wouldn't it be the Packers and 4 NFC West squads in that one?
When you say that the Niners are they're rejuvenated, we don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get traded or anything like that.
But Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't need to do much. The quarterback in a Kyle Shanahan offense with, what does he have? He's got good protection. He's got a good tight end, and he's got an offense that's not predicated on any scheme. It's just trying to help out the personnel that's in the room. And you know what? That's going to be the situation in Detroit. I know the Lions are terrible. I know that they were historically bad this year, but you can't, it can be one of two things. Was Matt Patricia one of the worst coaches in NFL history?
Yes.
Or was this a terrible roster? Because it can't be both.
It's not a terrible roster. It's a total terrible coach. I mean, I remember I was seeing this one article about how they were asking Patricia what his defense was going to be. Was it going to be a 4-3-3-4? And he's like, irrelevant. Doesn't matter. We're going to do different. We're going to have a lot of different sub packages. That's gross, right? Because when you're coming out of college, you might be playing 4-3, you might be playing 3-4, and then even the new defensive coordinator for the Lions was like, a lot of people just look confused out there. Yes, because Matt Patricia was trying to be some sort of Vincent Van Gogh of this defense and make this thing so like super smart. And it's like you're not that. And just play regular defense that everyone's used to, so you get the best out of everybody. So yes, they can get better that way, and I think you'll improve there. But Jared Goff, he if you have a consistent run game, Jared Goff is the guy that you want.
And what is Jared Goff? Jared Goff is someone who never really played in his system. He never really got to grow. And it's cool that Sean McVay was in his ear up until 10 seconds before the snap, telling him exactly what to do. But is that going to help a quarterback develop? Is that going to help someone grow on the job?
No.
In the Lions, where did Dan Campbell, new head coach, come from? New Orleans. Yeah. What has New Orleans done over the past 3 seasons? They've built a very good offense around a terrible quarterback. And I'm telling you, the Lions, you can make fun of them. You can shit on this team, but there's a decent O-line there. There's a good running back there, and there's a good tight end there. And that's what you need. You prop Jared Goff up with all these things that help a quarterback. You're playing in 3rd and short in the entire games, and it's not a great offense, but it's a functional one. And I don't see the Lions as being like a playoff team, no, but I think they can be next year's Carolina. I think they can be surprisingly competent and feisty, and let's also weigh in the factor that they got some of the best assistant coaches of anyone. Anthony Lynn is in charge of this run game. Dan Campbell, what did he do in New Orleans? No, he didn't bite any kneecaps. He designed the offense for Alvin Kamara. Who's the most similar player in the NFL to Alvin Kamara, Brian?
He's on his own pedestal.
Who? If there's one running back in the NFL who could actually play that similar role in an offense, a shifty back with pass catching abilities, who would?
Ooh, that's your Swift. That's your boy Swift.
Swift. He was a former SEC player of the year. He's good in the pass game. He's good in the running game. And in a team that was so misguided that the entire locker room was gunning for him to have the lead role over 100-year-old Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
They didn't give it to him.
Yeah, and I think that was a huge slap in the face for a cowbell running back to be like, oh, I love Adrian Peterson, but like, this is my job. And for the coaching staff not to trust him probably puts him in a bad position because then you're trying to do a little bit too much, you know?
Exactly. So the Lions, they're going to be competent on offense. They're not going to be great. They're not going to be the Chiefs or the Chargers or the Buccaneers, but they're going to move the ball. Yeah. They're going to play with intensity, and they're going to be able to protect. And that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is the Rams are thin. They're like paper thin pretty much. And that's okay. Cause I mean, they know their window. They know that Matthew Stafford is not going to be there forever. So you have a 2-year window to win now. So pretty much the cards are going to fall. Like the cards will fall soon, and they're going to be they're going to be reverting a lot of contracts to signing bonuses so they could stay under the cap. But hey, hats off to Sean McVay trying to do this, which could fail very, very poorly.
And the Rams, they could struggle because of injuries. They could struggle because of a good division. They could struggle simply because Andrew Whitworth is too old to be a left tackle in the modern NFL. And hey, in that album piece that came out today, Stafford talked about the 5 injuries he had last year. He has 2 broken backs before that. He has 2 shoulder surgeries before that. How's this guy staying healthy?
Well, he's got some LA. He's got to talk to LeBron a little bit. See, get one of those chambers that you can just sleep in for a little bit, get hibernated.
And that's why I want to see these odds put out. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I am saying it's logically going to be decent plus money. And the Detroit Lions, I know they're a doormat. I know they're an embarrassing franchise, but the Detroit Lions have a peculiar way of stepping up when the chips are down against them. So 1999, I am in 8th grade. Barry Sanders retires the day before training camp. The Lions lose their best receiver, Herman Moore, in week 1 and are forced to start a 3rd-round quarterback. That team goes 9-7, makes the playoffs. Calvin Johnson retires. They have no one to fill the void. They're stuck with his dead cap. They can't even add a number 1 receiver to go along with it. They get Marvin Jones just to throw him in there. He's never really proven himself. And the offense is going to really suffer. You don't know what the scheme's going to be. The Lions go 9-7 and make the playoffs. So when Barry left, they overperformed. When Calvin left, they overperformed. And I think there's a very real thing about structuring your offense around one guy's preferences. What's the worst thing you could do in forming a functional group?
Don't do it.
Don't cater to member preferences. That's what the Lions always do. And by simply not having the number 1 pick, or Calvin Johnson or Barry Sanders, they're able to actually overcome how poorly run of an organization it is. Like, they don't have the Ford family instilling power upon these franchise guys. Yeah. And that's going to give them flexibility to not have a scheme, to do what suits their personnel, to just try and be effective and not try and play a certain style. And yeah, maybe they'll go 3-13, but I think there's a good chance this is a competitive, likable 7-9 team. And I think it's just as likely that the Rams could struggle. I don't think this is really a bullish Lions pick. I look at the Rams' ages. I look at the Rams' salaries. I look at the Rams' injury history and division. And I don't know why this team is getting some of the best odds for the Super Bowl next year.
Well, because they're the hotness. They're the hot flash in the pan right now. Upsetting the Seahawks, it shows all this talk about Russ. Is he getting traded? So they're in flux a little bit in that division, and I want to see what the Niners do. I think that's going to be a really good outlook to see what they're going to do, because they're also a quarterback away. Their defense, and they're very scrappy, and they've found different ways to win or even just be competitive. So have a good quarterback that doesn't, you get your right decision. Does Carson Wentz go to the Niners?
Maybe. We don't know where.
That division is fun. That's just a fun division.
And even with no quarterback, the Niners have owned the Rams for 2 straight seasons. Nick Mullins beat that team this year. Russell Wilson lost to that team, but Nick Mullins beat him. I don't know. I kind of think that the Rams are finishing 3rd in that division next season. Am I crazy?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
I still don't like the Rams more than the Seahawks. The Seahawks needed to address their O-line. They didn't do it in time.
Yeah.
The 49ers had the year from hell. They still have a brilliant coach. I'll take them over McVay, honestly. They still have amazing protection and weapons and defensive line. I think they've got the 3rd highest talent level. I think they've got the 3rd best coach. And I don't think that they don't have the best quarterback in this division. So tell me why the Rams are a Super Bowl team, even with my boy Matty, even with probably the person who I love 3rd most on this earth under center. I think the Rams are overvalued. I need Sammy Kotler to walk up to those casino bigwigs, apologize for our episode about counting cards, which we just taped and it's really fun. So stick around for it and say, hey, we need you to put up the Walkowski. And they're like, what's the Walkowski? Is that Jeff Bridges character? And no, even though I look good in a bathrobe and shades and raking a weed, going on my adventures, that's not what this is about. This is about putting up a line, putting up a bet line, because it's going to happen. Lions, more wins than the Rams. Put it out there for me, Sam. I don't ask much of you aside from you catering your company to my wants at every possible turn and a decent salary. But I don't ask for much outside of that other than a daily show and allowing me to cover these things like I want. But aside from that, I don't ask for much. So Sam, make me happy as an employee. Make me happy to work for you. Make this Lions-Rams bet exist, because I'm going to hammer it. Call me Jimmy Carter on a day off, because I am hammering it.
Oh boy.
What do you mean, oh boy?
Hey, you get him to go to those casinos, because they're gonna be like, who, what? And then it's gonna be like, you need to go. You're upsetting everybody.
All right, so let's move on. Before we do, let me give some love to my new favorite thing to do, Monkey Knife Fight. You can use promo code WALK-ON for a $50 bonus. I play this. It's fun. It puts player props into an easy to understand competitive interface that's honestly pretty fun to play. You have head-to-head props. You pick one guy to come out on top. You pick one guy to score 15 points, and you try and combine total of points scored. There's so many fun, interactive, competitive prop bets. Anyone who's watched an NBA game can have a good time with this. My mother could have a good time playing this. My fiance, she's never placed a sports bet in her life. I'm going to have her play it tonight. I promise you she will have a good time. Oh, also, can I give the caveat that we did have some action on me and Settlers of Catan last night, and cash those tickets, my friends.